and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby.
Facial expression is a powerful conveyor of emotions. Researchers measure our ability to judge these emotions by comparing our perceptions to individual self-reports. But can we control or disguise our facial expressions? And are facial expressions truly pan-cultural? As stated in the book, Emotions in the Human Face, researchers like Hebb, Klinberg and Plutchik noted that our ability to conceal emotions often stems from something called display rules that are taught in early life. They have presented evidence of pan-cultural elements in facial behaviours and emotions. These abilities correlate across all cultures and can challenge the culture-specific view. Display rules dictate our habitual facial expressions and are arguably more noticeable when violated than followed. Some argue that our specific facial behaviours and emotions are innate, shared by all humans. Others believe that these behaviours are learned and vary widely across cultures. Consider experiments comparing reactions to stress-inducing films between American and Japanese subjects. Findings suggest cultural differences in emotional expressions are influenced by attitudes and display rules. Whilst most research supports a universal element of facial expressions, cultural nuances also play a significant role. Klinberg said that what shows in the face is often written by culture. Posed behaviours that are learned socially often mimic spontaneous expressions, blurring the lines between genuine and conventional displays of emotion, and vary drastically across cultures. In this video essay, I'll be discussing research I found demonstrating how the face could be a pan-cultural language for understanding emotion across all cultures, but also how different cultures may use their face in their own cultural practices to explore deeper emotions that some cultures are perhaps resistant to.
Okay. I'm here.
Artists and performers use facial expressions to convey meaning, evoke emotions, and engage audiences on an emotional and visceral level. Cultural expressions such as traditional dances, rituals, and ceremonies often rely heavily on facial expressions to communicate narratives, convey symbols, and preserve cultural heritage. The Maori people migrated to New Zealand from eastern Polynesia around 1300 AD. Their beliefs and customs carried over from their homeland, but as they lived in New Zealand relatively undisturbed for hundreds of years, they developed their own traditions and worldviews. Haka is a traditional custom for Maori people and a means of intense emotional declaration. The practice has been regarded as a powerful means of expression for hundreds of years. Haka is an energetic dance that involves the entire body. Vigorous rhythmic movements include slapping of the chest and thighs and stamping of the feet, loud chanting, fierce facial expressions, and forceful gestures accompanying those rigid maneuvers. Today, haka is used as a sign of respect and is performed on important occasions such as sporting events, weddings, and funerals. There are many different forms of haka. Facial expressions are used to intimidate opponents or convey a sense of fierceness and strength. Widened eyes, raised eyebrows, and intense stares are commonly used to assert dominance and strike fear into opponents. For example, performers might widen their eyes to create a piercing gaze that signifies their readiness for battle. They might furrow their brows or curl their lips and snarl to express defiance and determination. This synchronization adds to the overall impact and effectiveness of haka as a group performance. Performers might coordinate their facial expressions to emphasize key moments in the choreography, creating a powerful visual and emotional experience. The face is also used to express connection with ancestors in the spiritual realm. Contorting their facial muscles in certain ways, performers channel the mana, a spiritual power of their ancestors. This connection is vital in invoking the historical and cultural significance of haka. Examples of these facial expressions can be found in various performances of the haka, such as the world-renowned Kemata haka performance by the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team before matches. Observing these performances can provide a visual representation of how facial expressions are used to convey strength, unity, and cultural pride in Maori traditions. The Kapa'o Pango haka created controversy when the gestures of a thumb drawn down to the throat was interpreted by many observers as implying throat-slitting. The All Blacks and Maori interpret it as drawing a breath of life into the heart of lungs. This is a demonstration of how facial expressions may not be pan-cultural, and cultural interpretations of facial expressions do play a very important role in studying the face. Butoh is a Japanese avant-garde dance form that emerged in the late 1950s. It's characterized by its unique blend of surrealism, minimalism, and expressionism that first appeared in post-World War II Japan in 1959, under the collaboration of Tatsumi Hijikata and Kazuo Ono. Butoh is characterized by its unique blend of surrealism, minimalism, and expressionism. Hijikata sought to turn away from Western styles of dance, ballet, and the modern, and to create a new aesthetic that embraced the squat, earth-bound physique and the natural movements of the common folk. This desire found form in the early movement of Ankoku Butoh. The term means darts of darkness, and the form was built on vocabulary of the crude physical gestures and uncouth habits. In this regard, upon witnessing examples of Butoh, it appears an example of abandoning posed behaviours and typical display rules. Performers use their facial muscles to express emotions such as anguish, ecstasy, despair, and longing to the extreme. Unlike traditional forms of dance, where facial expressions may be more subtle and controlled, Butoh allows for extreme and sometimes grotesque facial expressions to evoke deep emotional responses for the audience. Facial expressions in Butoh can be highly abstract and surreal, reflecting the subconscious thoughts, fears, and desires of the performer. I found this interesting alongside Izzard's experiment of different responses between Western and Japanese subjects to watching stress-inducing films. The most interesting findings that he found were the vastly different responses to the questions, what emotions do you least understand and what emotions do you most dread? Performers often engage in slow, deliberate movements, allowing their facial expressions to synchronize with the overall rhythm and flow of dance to transcend conventional notions of identity and self-expression. This holistic approach to movement and expression fosters a sense of unity and harmony between the body and the face. Even if language constitutes our only tool for communicating about things in the world, including we ourselves, are not completely bound by language. Examples of Butoh performances showcasing the use of facial expressions can be found in works by influential Butoh artists such as Kazuo Ono, Tatsumi Hijikata, and Akira Kasai. Facial expressions in Butoh are intimately connected with the movements of the body. Performers allow their facial expressions to synchronize with the overall rhythm and flow of the dance. This holistic approach to movement and expression fosters a sense of unity and harmony between the body and the face, exploring how different cultures use the face in their own practice that differs from the Western view of facial expression in performance. This raises the question of whether facial expressions are pan-cultural or if display rules are a dominating factor worldwide. Perhaps we can learn from Butoh how to use our faces in ways to explore our own subconscious feelings. Most research may conclude that there is a pan-cultural element in facial behaviours and emotions. But can the face be used as a universal language? The answer lies behind a blend of innate emotions and cultural influences, making our facial behaviours a fascinating mix of nature and nurture. With a lot of experiment regarding the language of facial expressions, subjectivity is always an outlying criticism of testing. To record facial expressions, it requires both a subject and a judge that are both influenced by their own cultural practices. In exploring the face and feeling, we see both the universal and the unique. Art, culture, rituals, and performances may be able to help us explore the details of the face and facial expressions in further detail that science cannot study.